that your body is very comfortable. If there are any tension spots in your body that may have come from a difficult dream.
Look, emotions are running high, and that's understandable.
System disarmed. Ready to...
You're so cute.
There is just too much wildlife happening in our backyard. I think I remember telling you guys about the standoff that she had with the 4 coyotes, and in light of that, we sprayed all of our entry and exit points for the coyotes because they're just climbing over some of these higher walls that Peaches can't. But we're spraying wolf pee on them and it's working, except I think it wore off because that just happened. Can we talk about my run? I think the best thing about catching all this footage is watching this silly little human run over to try to help and save the day. I think we need to figure out a more permanent solution because it's just like not safe. Super stoked that coyotes aren't scared of Peaches and it's not the opposite, but I don't want that to keep happening. Peaches has also been doing a lot of hunting lately in our backyard. I mean, I guess you can say it's really impressive, but she's catching squirrels. Like, every time I tell anyone, they're all like, I've never met a dog that can actually catch a squirrel because they are fast and they climb up trees. I feel like I'm meeting a side of my dog that I don't agree with, where I'm like, Peach, this isn't you. Please stop. Today's main objective is to memorize an audition that I want to film tomorrow, which is Sunday because it's due Monday. And Monday, I'm flying to Chicago. I like to spread it out if I can and if I have the time to do that because I think it helps me memorize it better versus like cramming it all in like one sitting. Good girl. Yeah. That's a good patient girl. Oh my gosh. I have not painted my nails in a few weeks now, so I just wanted to do a gel. I love doing gel at home because it just lasts so much longer. I chose this dark brown and I'm into it. I like it. I feel like it's very, very much with this season.
6, breathe, 5, 4, to the ceiling. And just melt your torso.
That workout was mostly like balance and stretching and holding long poses, which is all my least favorite things, but exactly what I needed. Feeling loose, feeling limber. I'm making myself a simple protein smoothie. I have a banana, some yogurt, a little bit of spinach, throw in a medjool date as well, and a scoop of protein. I want to take a quick second to thank today's sponsor, which is Ritual. I have been taking their vitamins for over a year now, and they've just recently come out with a protein powder. It is called their Essential Protein. This is the Daily Shake 18+. This is what I just used in my smoothie and what I have been using in my smoothies. Their Essential Protein 18+ contains all 9 essential amino acids, providing a complete amino acid profile, helping to build lean muscle mass, satisfy appetite, and bone health. Each scoop contains 20 grams of vegan pea protein, so it is super filling. There's also choline in here that helps to support brain health and also fill dietary gaps. Just like all Ritual products, their essential protein is soy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, vegan-friendly, and formulated with non-GMO ingredients. There's also no added sugars in here, no sugar alcohols. I've got the essential protein for 18 plus, but it's also available in 50 plus, pregnancy, and postpartum. Ritual is all about full traceability, so they are running their products, supply chains, ingredients through super rigorous third-party verification. If you guys want to try out this protein for yourselves, it's vanilla flavored. It tastes so freaking good. It is such a sweet treat. You can get a massive 10% off of your first 3 months just by going to ritual.com/ClaudiaS and using my code ClaudiaS. Everything will obviously be linked and described in the description box. Look at this girl. She is obsessed. She just lays there and waits for a squirrel to come down to chase it. Peach, are you consumed by it? Is it all you do these days? Is it how you measure your worth? I just took care of some stuff on the computer. I'm gonna go back to memorizing. That has been my day. But I'm very excited for this evening because Alexis is going to be making me dinner. Soup, specifically, very excited, while Ava and I are going to be playing chess. We have really envisioned an evening for ourselves, so very excited to have dinner. Let's go. I just found this sweater in my closet. I think it's my mom's. I don't know. I am back home in Chicago for a few days. If you guys have seen my videos for a long time, you remember this bedroom. It is like such a little time capsule every time I stay in this room and come back. At the airport, I asked if you guys have any questions or anything you wanted advice on because it had been a second since we've done one of these. I thought let's film it here. Let's do it here. The first question just asks dating advice, which you don't get a lot of space to be very detailed in these questions. So I'll just kind of take it in my own direction. I think the best piece of advice I could give in the beginning is straightforwardness and honesty will get you so far, and it'll help weed out the people that aren't meant for you. I have never liked games, pretending like I didn't like someone if I did like them, or dragging them around or anything like that. And if it ever happened to me, it was only frustrating and it was only confusing. I just don't think that's a sign of respect or genuinely liking the person. I think the desire there is maybe for attention or, you know, other things that are not an actual connection with someone. Look for honesty and also be a source of honesty. Have you ever eaten meat? Yes, I still eat meat. I think because I'm surrounded by a lot of plant-based eaters and I have a lot of vegans in my life, and because I myself eat plant-based all the time, a lot of people assume that I am vegan and I am not. When I first moved out to LA, I did eat plant-based, fully plant-based for, I would say, like around 8 months, a little bit less than a year. Back then I was doing it to eat healthy, but you can still eat unhealthy under any sort of lifestyle. It totally makes sense that a lot of you guys think I am, but if I were ever to switch over, which I'm not sure if I ever will, it would be for environmental reasons, but I know how much I have already cut it back that it is making a difference. Like, I'm not going to the grocery store and buying raw meat and cooking it at home, and I'm not like buying meat in bulk. I am getting it at a really nice restaurant where I know it tastes good and it's served well and it's like locally caught. Like, I think often the internet or just in general people look at things as like so black and white, and I think the middle is like the most important, because I love sharing like plant-based recipes and not even like stating that they're vegan, because I just want people to see that like you can still have really tasty meals and make really tasty recipes that are plant-based. Sometimes I feel like the word vegan can sort of push people away and kind of be like, no, I'm not vegan, that's not gonna taste good. That's kind of where I'm at. I do have it on occasion and I do still really enjoy it. My efforts of cutting it out as often as I do does not go like unnoticed to the planet and does not make a difference, if that makes sense. If that's something you're interested in, do not feel like you need to switch over immediately. I think that is what makes it intimidating. That is what scares people. That is what makes switching over incredibly hard. I think it's so important to be curious about it and just try going to different restaurants, plant-based restaurants, and like swapping out substitutes and trying them out. Coexisting with your partner in a healthy relationship, what does that look like? Setting boundaries, super, super important. Growing up, I definitely did not know how to do that. In my past relationships, I did not know how to do that. Asking for what you want, fulfilling and doing what you need, and setting those boundaries are really, really important. What do you do to feel more like you when you feel out of touch with yourself? The biggest thing I can think of right now, honestly, is like listening to music, listening to songs that have been like favorites of mine for years. For some reason, that always brings me back into this mood of just like, oh my God, this memory to this song and this takes me back. I think music is really, really powerful in that sense, that we really cling to songs that we feel we identify with, and we feel like this is my taste in music, like this is my favorite song. There's a lot of like pride in that, which I think is really awesome. Also, spending less time on your phone, that's kind of vague, but I just feel when I'm scrolling on my phone, I am feeling the least connected to myself. You're just looking at highlights of other people's lives and distracting yourself. But that being said, being on your phone connects you with others. I love DMing with people and texting with people and FaceTiming and all that stuff. So I'm not saying it's a terrible thing, but in terms of feeling like your most self and connecting with yourself, I think that has to happen offline. Can you guys tell I like just woke up, by the way? My voice is super raspy, super sexy. Moving to a new city with my boyfriend, so nervous to try to make friends, where to start? I would say, and maybe this might not apply as good advice for your situation because I don't know if there is like a starting point. The way that I feel I've been making friends lately, I've been budding a lot of relationships through Instagram DMs. I think a great way to start a friendship, just responding to like funny stories or cute stories or whatever, finding that banter there. Social media has made it really easy to find people that you can relate with online and then like turn it into real life. How to be okay with life not always being incredible and busy. Okay, this is a big one. When we all look back at our lives, there are moments where life feels slower. There are moments where life feels hectic. There are moments where life feels fruitful. There are moments where life feels the opposite. When you're in a period of feeling slow and you don't feel that life is incredible and busy, find comfort in that and knowing that that will come. I think often when we are in this hectic, busy kind of period of our lives, whether it be like a month or even just a week, I know I personally always look back and I'm like, oh my God, I had such freer days just a month ago. Like, why was I not starting that book? Why was I not taking the time to like do more things for myself? When you're in that slow period or in that slump, it is hard to pull yourself out of that and think about that and be like, I'm gonna be busy in like some period of time in the future. I'm gonna be looking back at this moment in my life and being like, why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I whatever? And ultimately, I don't think you should ever feel pressure to fill up your free time or this slower period with other things to be productive or whatever. The goal is just to acknowledge and be grateful for it. I think there are positives to having a little bit more time to yourself. There are positives to being in a slower season of life. Rejecting diet culture. Everyone's bodies needs different things. The other day I was talking to a few of my friends and I about like food sensitivities. And one of my friends was like, isn't it wild that we all can't eat the same thing? You can eat this thing, and if I eat this thing, it will cause me so much pain and discomfort. And for that reason, I think diet culture is very toxic. Anyone saying that everyone should be eating this way is really dangerous because they don't know what everyone else's bodies need, you know? It really comes down to listening to your body and just hearing what your body likes and doesn't like. And luckily we live in a time now where you can prick your finger and send it to a lab and they'll tell you what you're sensitive to and they'll tell you what you're allergic to. That makes things a little bit faster, but I just think diet culture is like so problematic. How to stop feeling petty over minor inconveniences. You are not the thoughts you have. You are not the experiences that you have. This kind of leads to like having self-compassion. The worst thing about feeling pettiness or insecurity or any sort of self-doubt or anything in moments where something happened and it caused it. In that moment, it is so hard to not identify yourself with it. I know that when I slip into those moments, I feel like shit. I'm like, I don't want to be this person. And I think it's really important to acknowledge as soon as you can, I am just having this experience. I am having this thought right now, but that does not mean that that is who I am. These are things that are happening to me, and the better thing to do is ask myself, first of all, accept that you're having this thought, accept that you're having this emotion, and then ask yourself, why does this trigger this emotion for me? Find the root of that. Find out what fear is sewn into that. Do you have any big future plans for your channel? I really like where my channel is at in terms of my relationship to making videos, how I make my videos. I feel like if I ever did anything different, I don't know how it would be received. I guess I'm thinking about creators that have channels where it is like fully produced, fully edited. Sometimes I see that and I will admit, I'm like, should I be doing that? This would be saving me so much time. But ultimately, I feel like the things I cover are so sensitive and they're so intimate that I just don't know if I could like pass off my footage to an editor. And also, I'm really particular about the order of things and what music goes into it and all of that sort of stuff too. I would hate to remove myself from the part that I feel is the most creative for me. I imagine wherever sort of life takes me, however much YouTube is in my life versus not in my life, I feel like it'll always be this kind of personal project for me. I find deep satisfaction in doing all of it myself. How do you know when it's time to end a relationship? I feel like because you are asking this question, you already know it's time to end the relationship. I don't know if you're in a relationship right now. I will block out the information just in case, but I think you know. You know? And here's the tricky thing is that sometimes you feel like you will know that the time has come and you won't have a valid or concrete reason to break up with the person. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need a valid or concrete reason. Of course, it's so difficult and every single relationship is so specific, and if there's any manipulation happening there, that gets way more complex and can often feel so out of your control. I think it's really important to listen to your gut. I think it's really important to recognize those feelings and those sort of signs, and there's no relationship if you are not taking care of yourself and your partner isn't taking care of themselves. How to trust yourself when you don't know what's ahead. I was kind of talking about this in an early video about building this reputation with yourself, that you take care of yourself and you keep yourself promises. I'm like finding an answer that follows along with that sentiment. Yeah, it's just really, really important to be on your side and be on your team, and it's a lot easier said than done. Self-compassion, I think something that often in childhood in our earlier years, we sort of like unlearn it and we forget, and all these other things filter in, like suddenly these expectations that we put on ourselves and these fears and insecurities and comparing and all these things. I think self-compassion for many of us is something that you have to relearn later in life. It takes way more than just one day of acknowledging it, and it's really like a practice and a muscle that you have to build, and checking yourself in the moment. I think trust and self-compassion, like self-trust, just ride together. They parallel with each other. And if you are in a place where you feel that you don't trust yourself, or you don't trust that you will protect yourself or look out for your best interest, I think looking into self-compassion and allowing yourself to like re-fall in love with yourself. It is not selfish and only such a good idea to remind yourself of your gifts, your strengths, your talents, what you offer to those around you, what you offer to your best friends, your teachers, your co-workers, and feeling really empowered through that. And just like not forgetting that, I think that is really, really important. And that's not self-centered. That is just recognizing the parts that you feel really proud of. And I think doing things that allow you to work through your gifts and your talents only builds more self-confidence. Alrighty, you guys, I have talked your ear off. Thank you so much for asking such wonderful questions. Thank you again to Ritual for sponsoring today's video. I will have their protein link down below. I will see you guys for a new video very, very soon. I love you so much. Take care of yourselves. Bye.